Jesus told his disciples a parable. He wanted to teach them about prayer. He wanted them to always pray and not give up. The parable was about a widow. She was seeking justice from an unjust judge. This judge did not fear God. He did not care about people. The widow kept coming to the judge. She pleaded her case. She asked for justice. The judge ignored her. He did not want to help. He thought she was a nuisance. But the widow was persistent. She would not give up. Day after day she returned. She continued her pleas. The judge grew weary of her. He finally gave in. He granted her request. He did not do it out of fairness. He did it to be rid of her. Jesus used this story to make a point. If an unjust judge can be swayed by persistence, how much more will God answer our prayers? God is just and loving. He cares for those who cry out to him. This parable teaches us about the power of persistence in prayer. It also highlights the importance of faith and fairness. The widow's unwavering faith in the face of adversity is inspiring. She believed that justice would prevail. She refused to be ignored. Her persistence reminds us that our prayers are not in vain. God hears our cries for justice. He sees the suffering in the world. He will answer in his time and in his way. But this parable is not just about prayer. It is about how our faith should influence our actions. We are called to be like the persistent widow. We must fight for justice. We must speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. We must never grow weary of doing good. We must never give up on seeking a more just and compassionate world. Our faith demands action. The prophet Isaiah spoke out against injustice. He condemned the oppression of the poor and vulnerable. In Isaiah chapter 10, verses 1 to 4, he delivers a scathing indictment of those who exploit others for their gain. Woe to those who make unjust laws, Isaiah writes. They create evil decrees. They deprive the poor of their rights. They steal from the needy. They prevent the oppressed from receiving justice. These words resonate deeply in a world still plagued by injustice. Greed and corruption continue to fuel human rights abuses. The gap between the rich and poor widens. The vulnerable are often trampled underfoot. Isaiah's words are a stark reminder that God sees the suffering caused by injustice. He hears the cries of the oppressed, and he will hold those accountable who perpetuate such systems of oppression. The world today is grappling with a crisis of justice. Greed has taken root in the hearts of many. It drives conflict. It fuels environmental destruction. It perpetuates poverty and inequality. From the sweatshops where garments are made in deplorable conditions to the mines where children toil for a pittance, the evidence of greed is all around us. Human rights are violated in the name of profit. The environment is plundered for short-term gain. This insatiable hunger for more has created a world where the few prosper at the expense of the many. It has eroded our sense of community and compassion. It has left many feeling hopeless and disillusioned. Section 5, Shadows of Injustice, Haiti's Plight. The plight of Haitian immigrants in the Dominican Republic provides a stark example of the consequences of unchecked greed and injustice. Haiti, still reeling from natural disasters and political instability, struggles to provide for its people. Many Haitians seek a better life in the Dominican Republic, their neighbor on the island of Hispaniola, but they often face discrimination and exploitation. They are denied basic rights, forced into low-paying jobs, and subjected to inhumane treatment. This situation highlights the complexities of immigration, poverty, and human rights in a globalized world. It challenges us to confront our own prejudices and complicity in systems that perpetuate injustice. Section 6, Seeking Refuge, the Dominican Republic's Dilemma. The Dominican Republic, facing its own economic and social challenges, struggles to accommodate the influx of Haitian immigrants. The situation is further complicated by a long history of tension and prejudice between the two nations. This is not to excuse the injustices faced by Haitians. It is, however, a reminder that the issues are multifaceted and require nuanced solutions. Simple answers rarely address the root causes of such complex problems. What is clear is that the current situation is untenable. Both Haitians and Dominicans deserve a future where their basic human rights are respected, and they have the opportunity to live in dignity and peace. A question for our time. The stories of the persistent widow, Isaiah's prophecy, and the plight of Haitian immigrants all point to a fundamental question. Where can true justice be found? Can it be achieved through human effort alone, or is there a higher source we must turn to? The world offers many solutions: political ideologies, economic systems, social movements. Yet, true justice seems to remain elusive. The human tendency towards selfishness and greed often undermines even the most well-intentioned efforts. This is not to say that we should abandon the pursuit of justice in this world. Quite the opposite. We are called to be agents of change, to fight for fairness and equality for all. But we must recognize the limitations of our own efforts. We need a foundation for justice that transcends human flaws and limitations. This is where faith in God becomes essential. The Bible tells us that God is a God of justice. He cares deeply about the poor, the oppressed, and the marginalized. His law is founded on principles of fairness, compassion, and righteousness. It is from this divine blueprint that we can derive true and lasting justice. When we ground our understanding of right and wrong in God's character, we have a compass that guides our actions and shapes our values. This is not about imposing religious beliefs on others. It's about recognizing that true justice flows from a source higher than ourselves. It's about tapping into a wellspring of compassion and righteousness that can transform individuals and societies. Believing in God is not enough. Our faith must be evident in our actions. We are called to be peacemakers, to stand up for the oppressed, to be a voice for the voiceless. This means challenging injustice wherever we see it. It means advocating for policies that promote equality and opportunity for all. It means extending a hand of compassion to those in need. It also means examining our own hearts. Are we harboring prejudice or indifference towards others? Are we complicit in systems that perpetuate injustice? We must be willing to confront our own biases and work towards personal transformation. The world can feel overwhelmingly broken at times. Injustice seems to be rampant. The future can appear bleak, but even in the midst of darkness, there is hope. The God of justice reigns. He has not abandoned his creation. He has promised to make all things new. He has promised to establish his kingdom of righteousness and peace, and he invites us to be part of that work. Our faith is not a guarantee of an easy life. It is, however, an anchor for our souls. It gives us the strength to persevere in the face of adversity. It empowers us to work for a better world, knowing that our efforts are not in vain. The pursuit of justice is a journey that requires patience, persistence, and unwavering faith. Let us go forth with courage and compassion, seeking God's guidance and striving to build a world where all can experience the fullness of his love and justice. Please subscribe for more videos like this and share and comment.